Broadway's gonna have a brand new show tonight, with glitz and glam on the marquee, perhaps a Tony nominee. Stars beam brightly, see them glow, sell out nightly, SRO. It's time to applaud the Broadway Beat. Stars beam brightly, see them glow, in the spotlights of a show. Life is sweet on the world's most famous street.
Tickets, please.
Take a seat
Cue the band.
and have your feet to the rhythm of the Broadway Beat. The Broadway Beat. Broadway Beat.
Hello, I'm Richard Ridge, and welcome to Broadway Beat, our weekly half-hour behind-the-scenes look at the very best of a New York theater on Broadway and beyond. This week we celebrate the Broadway opening of one of last season's most celebrated new musicals, Grey Gardens, which is playing at the Walter Kerr Theater. It tells the story of Edith Bouvier Beale and her daughter, Little Edie, the eccentric aunt and cousin of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. We'll also stop by the St. James Theater for a press conference to kick off the Las Vegas production of the hit Mel Brooks musical The Producers, and chat with Brooks and his newest star, David Hasselhoff. But let's start things off at New World Stages, where the new musical Evil Dead had just opened. It's based on the cult classic 1980s Evil Dead films, which starred Bruce Campbell and were helmed by director Sam Raimi. Evil Dead the Musical is co-directed by three-time Tony Award winner Hinton Battle and Christopher Bond.
Listen to us now and make no mistake, we're gonna have fun 'cause it's spring break. We'll score, we'll fall down on the floor, we'll do all this till the whole lot more. Cabin in the woods, cabin in the woods, yeah. We're five college students on our way to an old abandoned cabin in the woods, yeah. Five college students on our way to an old abandoned cabin in the woods, cabin in the woods, we're cabin in the woods, cabin in the woods, we're cabin in the woods, we're cabin in the woods, cabin in the woods, cabin in the woods, we're cabin in the woods, we're cabin in the woods,
I thought the show is outrageous, good outrageous. You know, you go to a musical comedy or just a musical and you go along with it, it's kind of fun, you have a few laughs, but this is really meant to be balls out entertainment. From start to last, really. It's high energy. If you sit in the first four rows, something horrible will probably happen to you. And I think hopefully that's the reason why people will come. You know, one week they'll see Blue Man Group, and next week they'll come and get covered with blood. It's just, takes all kinds to fill the freeways, you know.
I was there Sunday night. I'm a huge fan of the movie genre, these movies that you made, and I was like just watching the fans that sat in those first three rows. They were white T-shirts, so like we're going to frame these.
Yeah, they want to be covered with blood. See, those are the Deadites.
When I got involved, I wanted it to be like a roller coaster ride. That anticipation, and then when you get in the seat, you ride and you don't know where you're going to go, and you're just thrilled. And that's what this show is. It's a thrill.
And the best part of the journey, Hinton, for you has been what?
The best part of the journey? The day that I sat in the blood zone and got splattered. That was the best.
See, if you can do it, anybody can.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was great. It was great.
My character. Well, I am the horny best friend of Ash, who is pretty much the instigator. Starts off as the alpha male, ends up becoming, a demon, being butchered in the woods. So I give Cheryl a hard time. I give everyone a hard time. I bring along my slutty girlfriend on the trip, and basically all I want to do is have sex and get drunk.
I actually played two roles. My first role I play is Shelley, kind of the dumb blonde who's just along for the ride and for a good time. And she gets taken over by a Kandarian demon. She gets shot. And then my second character is Annie, and she has the special pages and knows the certain passages to get rid of the Kandarian demon. So it's great. I really love that I get to play two different roles and show kind of two different kinds, like, types of myself. Kandarian
Oh, it's been awesome, man. We came all the way from Canada. We did this up there. No New York experience, just came up here, and all New Yorkers seem to be digging this, man. It's pretty awesome.
Take me back to the beginning. How did it come about for you with wanting to turn this into a musical?
You know, we saw the movie, and I thought, oh, that would be awesome as a musical. I have zero experience in songwriting. I've never written anything in the theater. This is really the first production I've ever been a part of, and decided to try it. And Bruce Campbell happens to be here as a guy I emailed. I said, yo, what do you think about this? And he put me in touch with the right people. All Sam Raimi, all those guys that let me do this up in Canada in a bar, and we did it. Took off in Toronto, we did it in Montreal, took off there, and 4 years later we're here, right where it matters.
You know, we get tired and we get sore because we, you know, get a little bumps and bruises, but I have the best time. It's always a fun audience. They're always cheering us on and having a great time. Sometimes telling us what to do because sometimes they know the lines from the movie. But just have a blast. I'm having the best time.
Talk about the role that you play.
I play Jake. He's the redneck in the woods. And when the characters from the second movie show up in the woods, they need to find their way to the cabin because the footbridge is out. And I'm the good old reliable Jake who can lead them out to the cabin in the woods.
I play Cheryl. She's Ash's younger sister. She's the first one to go demonic, and she's freaking crazy. She likes puns, which, you know, everyone does. And I basically live in the cell, and I pop up, and I make commentary. And she's very dirty. She's a bad demon. Very bad demon.
I play, at first I'm Ed, and then I become the bit part demon. I become Evil Eddie, who's a completely different version of Ed. He's like the version that breaks out of his shell, and he's maniacal and deadly. Very hard to kill. But he's the guy, at first, Ed's the guy that just can't say anything. He's the browbeaten guy who just kind of takes it on the chin and goes with the flow.
Talk about the best part of the journey of working on this show or performing the show is what?
The best part of this process was watching it grow and watching everybody around me, the cast and the crew, especially the directorial staff. They really brought a lot out in this show. It just kept growing and building, and it became something that you couldn't even tell in the beginning. It became this big monster that feels really good. It feels like a really tight show, and it feels like the cast really, really works well together, and I feel that the most.
When it all came together for me, well, I've had 3 years to prepare. I started this show in Canada in 2003, so I've gotten used to it. But before I came down, and when I knew I was preparing to do the role, I did a lot of yoga, did a lot of running, lifted a lot of weights, and as I get into the groove, I get used to it again. It's a tough one. It's tough, but it feels good.
Oh, it's wonderful. Talk about the role that you play for our audience who has yet to buy tickets.
I play Ash. He's a boy takes this girl to the cabin, tries to get lucky. Unfortunately, they unleash evil demons who start killing them, and I have to save the day. I'm called upon to do what I must do to kill the demons and save the world, save mankind from this unspeakable evil.
It's like every teenage boy's fantasy in America.
Pretty much. And what's even better is I'm a store clerk at S-Mart, similar to Walmart, or so yeah, pretty much. You couldn't be more middle America, I don't think. Yeah.
The Mel Brooks and Thomas Meehan musical The Producers, which holds the record for winning the most Tony Awards ever, 12 including Best Musical, continues playing at the St. James Theatre in New York. Well, now The Producers will open a new production in February 2007 at the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas, starring the dashing David Hasselhoff, who'll don a dress and pumps playing the outrageously flamboyant director Roger Debris. We caught up with both Brooks and Hasselhoff on stage at the St. James Theatre.
But I want to tell you, it was so crowded. I met a girl, she was so skinny. I mean, this girl was thin. I took her to a restaurant, and the maitre d' said, check your umbrella. That's how skinny this girl, but that was my first joke at the Butler Lodge in 1916 or something like that. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege, my happiness, and my honor to look up and introduce to you the person who is going to empty out Germany when they find out he's in Las Vegas, David Hasselhoff. Ladies and gentlemen.
Hello. The first time I've been hired to wear a dress. Yes, and because of my legs, it is an honor to be here and an honor to be on the same stage with you. And
you were born to play Roger Debris.
Well, at first you guys talked about the Nazi, but I couldn't play the Nazi because of my fame in Germany.
Yes, right.
Yes, so
they wouldn't like
that, you know. But wearing the dress, I actually wore a dress on Baywatch Nights once, and I wore some pantyhose, and the makeup artist said your legs look better in pantyhose than they do in red shorts. So, I mean, I'm quite excited.
Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, you do have to have great legs, because in the opening scene, Roger Debris enters in a dress.
Right.
So if you don't have good legs, it's going to kill. And he's.
I am going to look like the Chrysler Building.
Yes, you're tall enough to be the Chrysler Building.
And talk about reworking the script with Mel. What that's been like.
We sat down and we looked through the script and we thought, well, where are the quiet moments where we sit down a little too long without telling much story? And there's the big old kind-of-fashioned ballad, That Face, that opens Act 2, and it's a long dance. It's kind of a salute to Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire, but it doesn't move the story forward, and it slows the show down. And we noticed that in the movie version that as well as it was done, it was like a down moment in the propulsion of the story. As the story moves, it stops it. And so that's gone in the Las Vegas show. So we can move right along from the little old ladies right to the auditions of the Nazis and straight to Springtime for Hitler, which is the goal. Particularly when you get David Hasselhoff coming down as Hitler.
It's a marriage made in heaven. The Producers is fast and furious and glittery and funny and a winner. Everybody likes a winner, and we won 12 Tonys, the most ever on Broadway. And, if you're a winner, you go to Vegas, and it's exciting. The Paris Hotel is a perfect place for it. It's a great venue. And they're building a special stage just for the Producers. They're making it, because we got David Hasselhoff, they're making it a little taller than normal. But, I mean, it's going to work. I mean, we were meant to be, part of the Las Vegas scene.
Let's talk about David, why you think he'll make a great Roger.
First of all, nobody looks better in a dress than David Hasselhoff. No, I mean, in the role. I don't know what he does late at night. I have no idea. But he's look, this guy's got brains, he's got looks, and he's got talent. He sang 14 songs in Jekyll and Hyde, and everyone, everyone was fabulous. So we're very lucky. We're very fortunate to get a good-looking, very talented guy to be Roger Debris, starring in The Producers.
You know, I don't know. I was out of nowhere. I was like, I was in London with a song, and I was developing my own show called Hoff Broadway, or David Hasselhoff the Musical, and we were going to go sometime in the summer after America's Got Talent, and the phone rang, and they said, "You're not going to believe this. Mel Brooks just called." I said, "Yeah, right." And they said, "No, Mel Brooks called, and they want you to be in The Producers in Vegas." And I said, "Well, what role?" They said, "Well, the Nazi." I said, "The Nazi?" I said, "No, the Nazi." I said, "I don't want to play the Nazi." I said, "What was it? The guy in the dress, the director." And they said, "Well, that's the role they wanted you for, but they didn't think you wanted to wear a dress." I said, "Are you kidding me? My legs look good in a dress." I did a Baywatch Nights in drag, and I got pretty skinny legs. They look good in pantyhose. How weird is that? And so he calls and says, "Yes, he saw me in Click. He knows what I've done. And he mentioned my legs, and it was hysterical."
After last season's sold-out run at Off-Broadway's Playwrights Horizons, the new musical Grey Gardens has just opened on Broadway to rave reviews at the Walter Kerr Theater. The musical tells the story of Edith Bouvier Beale and her daughter, Little Edie, the delightfully eccentric aunt and cousin of Jacqueline Kennedy, beautifully played by Christine Ebersole and Mary Louise Wilson. We caught up with both of them and the rest of the Grey Gardens company at their recent opening night celebration.
Grey Gardens will be decked out in its prime. Bright as a Lebanon dime. Edie will be here with Joe in time. Like a Norman Rockwell family, the photo in the Hamptons Beach.
The event of 1941.
East, West, South, and Bridge have done. So perhaps I've overspent a bit. The man who's gonna pay for it is arriving on the 5th.
I think there's an incredible universality about this mother-daughter relationship. I think people see Little Edie's behavior and they think she's completely mad and she's also completely brilliant at the same time. Like when she gets on that scale with those binoculars, it's crazy, but it also makes perfect sense. It's something we've all needed to do, we've all wanted to do. I think it really touches universal chords the way the documentary did.
You know, having worked a lot in the theater as a music director, I've seen shows that don't do a lot of work in previews, and I've also worked on shows that do, and I was really interested in tinkering things, taking chances, putting numbers in, moving things around, changing lines. We've really been working. We've tried things for a couple performances, kept them, tried things for a couple performances, taken them back out again. So I think that there's stuff you never really know until you see it, hear it in front of a live audience.
In truth, We had an overstuffed first act at Playwrights Horizons. We were too enthusiastic about too many ideas, and I think the audience didn't know where to look. And I hope that now on Broadway, we've positioned their eye a little more artfully so they know the story that they're watching. They know to invest in these two women. And in the first act, they see the beginnings of a kind of pathological psychology that will reach its full blossom in Act 2. So it's really been charting the relationship of these two extraordinary women in a closer, hopefully more insightful way.
Do you ever go back and look at the documentary again when you were doing rewrites? Have you gone back to look at it again?
Our astonishing leading ladies had the great privilege of hosting the documentary on Turner Classic Movies, and I thought, I'm going to watch Christine and Mary Louise. I want to support them. I want to hear what they have to say. And sure enough, they both comported themselves gorgeously. And then the movie started. And my boyfriend was sitting next to me and was saying, "You've seen this 800 times. Surely we're going to go out and have dinner." And I begged him, "No, we can't leave. We have to stay." And I watched the entire documentary again just from some kind of maniacal, masochistic pleasure. So those ladies still infect my dreams.
The days are gone when money grew on trees. The money tree came down with elm disease. But at my age, ducks, for my $2, I'll eat the cake I have and like it. I'll eat the cake I have.
Talk about why you think this musical works so well. I think this is such a beautiful jewel of a perfect musical. Why do you think it works so well?
There's so much content. I mean, it's a story. It's a play, really, with music. You know, it has a lot of, and it's dark and funny, and sad and beautiful. At least I feel that way. So.
And
plays so many of your scenes opposite Christine Ebersole. Talk about working with her 8 times a week and what that's like.
So wonderful. I mean, it's very unusual, but I just think we both respect each other so much as actors and as comedians, and I think she's gorgeous, and I feel very privileged to be working with her. You know, there's no ever any problem. We just have complete trust, and it's rare.
Before you got this project, how well aware were you of Grey Gardens, the documentary and the story?
I had seen it, you know, and many years ago I saw it, and I couldn't believe they were going to make a musical out of it. I hear Scott saying right now how everybody said it was insane, and I said the same thing. A musical, Grey Gardens, you know, but I've changed my opinion now.
I think she was very much like she was when she was older. How do I say this? I think she was very similar to how she was when she was younger, when she was older. I don't think she changed that much. If you look at her, she's a little girl in an older woman's body, and she's very flirtatious, and she's very girly. Yeah. So I don't think she changed that much, and I think it's easier to go backwards than forwards, certainly.
Why do you think this musical works so well?
I think it works because it taps into everybody can relate to a mother-daughter relationship, or any family relationship where there's struggle and there's getting older, growing older, and living your own life, but having to take care of a parent, it's heartbreaking, but beautiful because it has all of these things in it that I don't think it lacks anything for a musical.
It's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool to play a Kennedy, I gotta say. It's pretty fun to go out there and you say your first line and people, just get such a kick out of it, because you sound like Jack Kennedy or, a Kennedy. So it's pretty incredible, but it's big shoes to fill. I mean, they were pretty confident, fellas. And they were, bred to be so from an early age. So I love that I get the contrast as well. I love playing Jerry. Jerry's such a sweet, sweet man, and so I love that, I'm fortunate enough that I get to play, a real contrast between the characters.
Well, not much is known about him. I mean, there are, in the movie, they show a picture of George Gould Strong, who was Mother's accompanist and obviously good friend and confidant, and he's a very dashing sort of a guy. But that's all that's known about him. He's supposed to be so brilliant. That's all you really know. They've imagined him as sort of being a kind of a pre-Stonewall kind of a New York urban gay man, but also kind of like in a Cole Portery sort of way, he seems to have had a certain affair with her at a certain point with Big Edie. You can't really tell, but they're obviously very, very close, but by the time the action comes around, he's feeling like he's being kind of kept, and he knows it's time to go, and then the action sort of then the action sort of hurries that decision along.
Deep in the night, when the whispering breeze sings this song I play, shed a tear and be glad for the fun that we had. Drift away on a dream. Drift away.
With these people that keep coming to see it, I know I'll be out there, and some people that reminded me of Follies. People kept coming back.
So my friend said he was unable to see the original Follies, but saw another production and says this is the closest thing. He said there's just something about this show that reminds me the journey you all take the audience on is quite amazing. It's the same kind of journey you did in Follies.
Isn't it? That's wonderful to hear, because that's what theater's about, and the repeat audience is wonderful, and they come out and they'll mention shows they've seen you in before or wanted to see in my age, and so it's nice. That's what, to me, it's all about.
Well, I think it's more integrated than it was at Playwrights. We knew there were changes that had to be made, and so we all worked very hard in making those changes take place and have more integration between Act 1 and Act 2. And of course there were things that we tried that didn't work, and we took them out and put other things back, and So that's just the creative process. So I think the end result has been the right thing, and I think it's really benefited the show, and I think it's a success.
And just talk about this wonderful creative team you have. I mean, these guys work so hard. Scott, Michael, just Doug, such beautiful work. And what was it like working with them over the past few weeks?
Well, it's been a really collaborative effort since the very beginning, since we were at Sundance, and there's a real sharing, a real creative sharing that goes on, and my thoughts about and ideas about the process have been really welcomed, and there's a real exchange of ideas that, it's an ideal situation that has been just wonderful.
My season ended a long time ago, but no one took the party tent down. The pink paper lanterns still twinkle in place. My young Navy hero is tender embrace. That sapphire blue ocean, oh, how can I face another winter in a summer town? Oh God, my God.